I'm Joel Chasnoff, and welcome to FIDF Live, our final episode of the year. This past year is one we will never forget. The COVID pandemic, Operation Guardian of the Walls, the rescue operation at the Surfside apartment complex in Miami. The IDF always aims to stay one step ahead of any challenges we face. In a minute, we'll look at how the IDF is innovating to prepare for these challenges. But first, let's look back on the year 2021. Once upon a time, just over 20 years ago, I was a lone soldier in the IDF. Back then, there were only a few hundred of us lone soldiers. We were anonymous. Most Israelis didn't even know who we were or why we came. Today, there are more than 7,000 lone soldiers in the IDF. They come from 70 countries all over the world. And this year, 2021, actually saw an increase in the number of lone soldiers joining up. This despite the COVID pandemic. Today we are with the Tavor Battalion. They are part of the Search and Rescue Brigade in the Home Front Command. They also participate in operations in Judea, in Samaria, over here. But there's one more thing that's really special about the Tavor Battalion. It's that they have more than 30 lone soldiers currently serving right now.
Shalom FIDF!
So we got an escort out into the field. And we're sort of in the middle of nowhere, that's what it feels like, to meet these lone soldiers. Hey!
Hi!
What are your names?
I'm Veronica, I'm from Venezuela.
I'm Daniel, I'm from England.
So we have lone soldiers from England and Venezuela, and Veronica, I'll start with you. Tell me why you chose to become a lone soldier.
I always felt that I was like Jew back in Venezuela, so I always felt a connection with Israel and I wanted to give everything I have to the country.
Veronica, what does it feel like to be serving now in a unit with so many lone soldiers, a similar background to you?
I guess it's comforting knowing that there are more people like me that they came here for similar reasons, and also like they understand what it is to be away from family and just be here to give it all. And also, it doesn't make you feel like alone. We call ourselves lone soldiers, but we have a lot of people that help us. And like for example, friends with IDF, they helped me move when I didn't have anyone to help me because I don't have family here. And you don't really feel alone.
Well, Veronica, you mentioned lone soldiers and FIDF. You are a special part of our family, and anything we do at FIDF, we're thinking of you, and you're in our hearts. And I do want to ask about where we are right now, specifically this tower behind me. So what exactly is this, and what do you do?
Well, this is a fill box, and that's the Migdal, where you can see a 360 view of the entire Giza, of the entire place that we are protecting.
Let's go on in. Nice.
Hi Joel, nice to meet you.
Hi.
I'm Benny. Thank you for coming to visit me.
Thanks for hosting me up here. Can you
You're
give me a
welcome.
little bit of a lay of the land?
So right now we're just on the side of Beit Awa, which is an Arabic village, and over there we have all of Shetach Israel. Now what we do is we look over here. Here's to make sure that no one's coming to throw stones, no one's coming to cause problems, and the road here goes straight to Israel. So here we're just making sure that everything is good and how it should be.
And I know you're a lone soldier as well. I'd love to hear a little bit about your story, where you're from, and why you chose to be a lone soldier.
So originally I was born in South Africa. I lived there for 10 years, and I moved over to England and lived there for 10 years as well. I remember when I was about 8 years old and moved to England, I was at a school and the kids were doing Hail Hitler and all of that, which they didn't even understand what it was. For me that was very hard. It took me a long time to get used to living in a different country and everything. But as soon as I moved here, it felt like home. When I came on holidays, it was like a second home. Even with the language, I didn't speak anything before I came. It was really warm and home, and there's nothing like it here.
You went through Operation Guardian of the Walls this past spring. What was that like for you personally, and also for your family, who I assume is still in the UK?
Yeah, it was hard, but at the same time, the whole group of us, we were much closer. All of the lone soldiers that I lived with were speaking every day, making sure everyone's okay. It was like having a family here. My family over in England were worried, but knew that I had the support here. And that helped them, and helped me as well.
Well, Benny, thank you so much for spending some time with us, and it really is an incredible transition. Experiencing anti-Semitism in the UK to now serving in the IDF and protecting the state of Israel and the Jewish people. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
One of the major achievements of 2021 was the completion of the underground barrier separating Israel from Gaza. The border with Gaza is known as the most volatile border in Israel. Just this year, over 4,000 missiles were fired from the Gaza Strip to Israel, which led to Operation Guardian of the Walls. In just seconds, what seems like quiet and peaceful scenery can change to a war zone, with thousands of missiles fired, incendiary balloons flown over the border, riots on the fence, and the threat of terror tunnels being dug, leading to infiltration attempts. In this reality, Israel is on guard 24/7 in order to protect its citizens, and always seeks out new and innovative ways to protect the country. And so, the underground barrier was built.
So right now we can see the border between Gaza and Israel. Over there we can see the fence, the border. Over there is the city of Sderot. Over there is the city of Ashkelon. And there's a lot of kibbutzim that are really close to the border, like Netiv Asara, Zikim, and Yan Mordechai. And on the other side, we can see the houses of the Gaza Strip. So as you can see, the villages in Israel and the Gaza Strip are very close to each other. The threats are the missile threats, the rocket threats that the Hamas is sending into Israel to harm innocent civilians. And they're also the tunnel threats to penetrate into the Israel area and to kidnap soldiers and to harm innocent civilians. So the underground barrier was finished built in December 2021, and the purpose of the barrier is to prevent Hamas from building new tunnels that penetrate into Israel area. One of the most very important features are sensors that goes into the ground, and the sensors can tell us when Hamas is digging very close to the border with Israel. Now with the underground barrier, we can detect the tunnel before they can dig it into Israel area, and we can detect the tunnels faster and save lives of Israel civilians and soldiers.
The barrier has had a great effect on the civilians living in the outskirts of Gaza. Captain Ishai, a platoon commander in the Givati Brigade, is in constant contact with the families who live near the border, accompanies them, and trains together with them.
What summarizes the difference between 2021 and years before is the border. The work on the border and building a new big wall up-grounded and also undergrounded is a very big difference, and we feel it now. Working on the border, we could see that the border is much stronger. All the civilians here know that the army is here to protect them. They see us working on the border. They see us in the villages practicing with them and running with them. They could try and attack, but they will be stopped in one of a point.
The past couple of weeks, we've been having some drills, different scenarios that we're practicing for. If it's attack, if it's defense, if it's just protecting better. We've been using different artillery and all sorts of ways to defend the borders. What keeps me going, what keeps me able to keep doing patrols and keep doing missions, even though it's not so easy and you don't sleep a lot and you don't end up eating sometimes, and you have a lot of missions to do, is the fact that you're doing real important missions, and they have a straight effect on the civilians and on our country, and without it we won't be able to exist.
Going into 2022, the barrier will make a very big impact in the citizens' lives, but what goes along with it are the soldiers of the IDF who stand guard 24/7, 365 days a year to make sure everyone is safe. With lots of work and little rest, the combat soldiers stand on the front lines of Israel. We're spending some time now with Lieutenant Colonel Amnon Scheffler. He is the IDF international spokesperson, and he's going to shed some light on what has been a very complicated past year: coronavirus, operations here in Israel, humanitarian missions overseas. And first of all, Lieutenant Colonel, thank you so much for spending some time with us on FIDF Live. I want to begin with Operation Guardian of the Walls. Was this conflict different from other conflicts the IDF has dealt with in the past? And if so, how?
Thank you, Joel. I'm happy to be here. And really, it's a great opportunity to sum up 2021. This was a year that was filled with a lot of good doing. And also, we need to remember, we had Operation Guardian of the Wall this year, which brought 11 days of conflict with 4,400 rockets that were shot from Gaza by Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad on Israeli civilians. Luckily, throughout the years, we have been developing and training and really being ready to deal with this threat, and we were able to intercept over 90% of these rockets that were shot at Israeli civilians. Another front that we're facing this year, and it's also accelerating, is really the lies and the incitement that we're seeing around the world. And this is something that here in the IDF spokesperson unit, we're trying to deal with in the best way, but we know and we're feeling that this is not just us who are dealing with this, that this is actually the whole world that is supporting us and that is standing to the truth. And this is something that looking forward to 2022, we will have to deal with this even more and more, and knowing that we have the backing of those who are supporting us is something that makes us feel that we can deal with this challenge.
How are you, as the international spokesperson, dealing with the social media phenomenon?
So actually, this social media phenomena is something that we have decided that the way to deal with it is to join it. And we have opened platforms from Twitter through Facebook and YouTube all the way to TikTok. We have brilliant young soldiers, many of them who did Aliyah and decided to join the military, who are writing and tweeting and curating and are sharing the information, the stories of the men and women that are serving in the IDF and spreading the truth out there. And we're doing this, and we also need the help of those who are supporting us, if it's FIDF or others who really support Israel, to spread this information out there.
So looking ahead to 2022, what do you foresee in terms of the IDF, in terms of dealing with the new threats that we are facing?
We're continuously developing our capabilities. We're now taking more information from more sources and being able to integrate and analyze them in a much faster and better way. This is helping us defend the state of Israel. And we can see this with the F-35, for example, that has great capabilities, but not only with itself, it shares it also with our other ground forces, intel forces, and etc. And this is allowing us to defend ourselves from these growing threats that are spreading here around the area.
Finally, Lieutenant Colonel, we have FIDF supporters at home watching right now. Is there anything you'd like to say to them as we move into this new year?
FIDF supporters, I thank you so much. Your continuous support has given us not only strength and courage, but actually the will to continue in standing to our values, standing and believing in democracy, in peace, and promoting human rights. I thank you very much. Toda rabba, and I salute you.
And Lieutenant Colonel Scheffler, we want to say thank you to you as well for spending some time with us. Toda rabba, and wishing you a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hey FIDF, all of us here in Iron Dome would like to thank you for all of your support over the past year, especially during Operation Garden of the Walls.
We would like to wish you a Happy New Year from all of us.
Happy New Year!
When I see Israeli soldiers, to me, they're my family. Everyone that serves in the Army, I feel, is something personal. It's a connection to me.
We got some letters from you guys and just wanted to thank you and tell you that it warms our heart and it makes us want to continue and gives us power to continue. That we know that people have our back.
First, I want to start with thanking all the soldiers in the IDF for putting themselves at risk, for protecting Israel. Reality is we need a safe and strong Israel to protect the Jews all over the world. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
I want to give a big thanks to FIDF for all the love and support that you guys give us throughout the year. I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year, health, success, and happiness. And thank you so much again for FIDF for supporting us.
FIDF! I'd just like to thank you all for your service. It is so critically important and so very much appreciated. So thank you all so very much.
My name is Tomer, and I am commander in the 869 Battalion in the north of Israel. And I would like to wish to our friends from FIDF Happy New Year, and thank you very much for your helping and supporting us.
I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the service that you do for us and for the state of Israel. God bless you, and God bless all the soldiers of Israel.
I wanted to wish everyone a Happy New Year and thank everyone for everything that you guys have done this year for the soldiers and for me. Shana Tova.
The IDF protect not only Medinat Yisrael, but all of us around the world, and we are truly honored.
It feels really nice to know that there are people looking out for us and people that have our backs even from so far away.
I'm connected to him because I'm a Jew and he's a Jew. We're all one big family.
I wanted to say thank you to FIDF for all you've done for us this year. Between the free flights to go home, to the food that you give us when we're in the field training, to the buildings that you build for us on base, we truly appreciate everything that you do for us.
Thank you, friends of the IDF, for supporting us. We will continue to defend Israel with high spirits.
Thank you!
FIDF supporters, I thank you so much. Your continuous support has given us not only strength and courage, but actually the will to continue in standing to our values, standing and believing in democracy, in peace, and promoting human rights. I thank you very much. Toda rabba, and I salute you.